From the BBC World Service, in association with ABC and All India Radio, this is Stumped.
Hello and welcome to Stumped, your intercontinental hit of news, features and debate from the quirky world of cricket. I'm Alison Mitchell, not at a cricket ground this week, but I am in the commentary box for the BBC World Service on Centre Court, Wimbledon. But I can tell you what I can see out the window in front of me is a beautifully manicured lawn. Those stripes, well, they're just being manicured a little bit more at the moment because the mower is being trundled up and down. The white lines are being refreshed with a little bit of paint. And yes, I'm commentating on the tennis this fortnight, but still, of course, here to bring you Stumped. I reckon there might have been a couple of cricketers in the stands, a little bit incognito the other day, having a bit of breather between test matches. But there were no social media posts. If they were here, I think they very much wanted to keep it under wraps.
Jim Maxwell for the ABC in Sydney. Nice to see you installed at a sporting heaven at Wimbledon. Everyone wants to go to Wimbledon. And, well, as we know, it's almost impossible to get tickets. But they still queue, don't they? They're still making them queue. I don't understand that. Here in Australia, I suppose most of the interest is in a series that's going on the subcontinent. And Australia's having some fun with the turning ball. And there was a bit of a barbecue the other night with Smith and Kawaja, which probably highlighted more the emotional immaturity still of Steve Smith in the way he reacted to being run out. And, of course, India and England, a test match. Again? I thought that was supposed to be last year, Charu.
Well, it probably will rank as one of the longest ever test series in the game of cricket, about a year apart. But yeah, hello, this is Charu Sharma. I'm in New Delhi, actually the national capital region in Gurgaon at this lovely Westin hotel where I'm about to, we're getting set to host one of these wonderful felicitation ceremonies for achievers and leaders under 40. But of course, so much cricket going on and the colour is green. With envy, Alison. I'd love to be at Wimbledon myself. But yeah, there's a lot of attention on this final test, Jim, Alison, about the composition of the team, about the lack of leadership because of all the illness and injury and everything else. So yeah, a lot of cricket to look forward to. But I must confess, all of next week and a bit, I'm actually away. So I'm going to miss most of the action because I'm going on a trek to Kashmir in the middle of all of this.
Wonderful. Are we going to cross to you from Kashmir? That would be something, wouldn't it? And by the way, are you not one of those achievers and leavers under 40, Charu? Surely. Surely.
Well, under 30. So I still have some time to reach that.
It is good to see you both. Welcome along. Like this week, there's a lot to talk about, and we will touch on both the India Test match to come. But first of all, well, it's the end of an era for the England men's white ball team.
It's come to this. Here's the last ball of the World Cup final. Archer bowls it. It's clipped away into the leg side. They're going to come back for the second. The throw is picked up. They throw to the wicket-keeper's end. He's run out, is he? I think he's run out. England think he's run out.
I'm incredibly proud to go out and I suppose stand for something that you believe in for so long and do something that you really think is right, even when it's questioned. To be with a special group of players to try and achieve that is something that I'll always hold close to my heart.
Well, that is Eoin Morgan, who has retired from international cricket and stepped down as England's white ball captain after 7 years in charge. And in that time, England won the 2019 World Cup. They reached the top of the one-day and T20 rankings, and on an individual level, Morgan retires as England's leading run scorer and most capped player in one-day and 2020 cricket. I mean, Jim, he's peerless, isn't he, in terms of England white ball captains?
Well, if you look at the numbers, he's way in front of anyone. I mean, you go back to the old days of Brearley and Gatting when one-day cricket was rarely played. They had pretty good records, but nothing like this. No. He's miles ahead of everyone in terms of his commitment, his playing record, and his leadership. I mean, he won something. He won a trophy for England, a big trophy. And it took a long while, longer station for England, having competed from the start when it was the Prudential Cup and made a couple of finals here and there. But no, he's been stunningly successful. And he's going to be hard to replace. But it's a pity he's lost a bit of form because he turned things around for England and made the rest of the players realise that they could win a World Cup. So, as they say, well done him. It is a record that will live for a long, long time.
Charu, anyone other than Buttler to possibly lead the England 50 over side now?
Well, considering his spectacular form right now, obviously he's the right choice. But may I quickly ask you at the end of whatever little I have to say now, why not Stokes? Because yes, he's a red ball cricketer, but he's as efficient, as devastating a white ball cricketer as well. And if you can load him with test match captaincy, why not ODI or white ball captaincy as well? But yeah, why not Buttler? I think he also has a very calm demeanor. To my mind, I mean, just going on positions, of course, this is not really a proven theory, but openers could make very good captains because when they're out to bat, they've got their mind focused on that job. If they're back in the pavilion, then of course they've got plenty of time to think about what to do with the batting order. In the field, when you don't bowl, you've got plenty of time again to keep a very sharp eye on what's going on. And he has loads of experience.
Stumped on the BBC World Service.
Next on Stumped, well, there are some fans out there who say Test cricket takes too long. And in this particular case, well, as Jim was alluding to, they might have a point because for 10 months, India have been leading England 2-1 in a men's test series with one match to go. And still, we don't have an outcome. That's about to change, however, because you'll remember that the final match of their 2021 test series was postponed it was meant to be played in September last year, but the COVID-19 outbreak meant it got pushed back. The fifth and final test is now being played at Edgbaston this week. Plenty's changed in that time, not least for the England team, but both sides have new captains and new coaches. England have an entirely new mentality. So Charu, Virat Kohli is of course no longer leading India. Rohit Sharma, the man in charge, but he's got COVID. So are we going to have, it looks like we're going to have Jasprit Bumrah, potentially given the captaincy. So what's your thoughts on the situation there?
I think the Indians may have shot themselves in the foot somewhat by appointing Jasprit Bumrah as the vice-captain, perhaps not anticipating that Rohit Sharma will not be fit. So there we are. Now we can't demote him, can we? We can't appoint somebody else, having appointed Jasprit Bumrah as a vice-captain. So he's a nice, easygoing guy. So in terms of his demeanor, I don't think that's a problem because every once in a while, if you're not such a team man as Bumrah is, others may not trust you or be willing to be led by you, but he's a very amiable young man. So, yeah, I mean, there's no problem with the character or personality. He's been India's lead fast bowler for a number of years now. India depend upon him hugely, but he hasn't quite delivered as much as he did, say, a couple of years ago. So there's that individual pressure as well of performance. And in the middle of all of that, you have to think about everything else. So, I mean, he'd be delighted at the opportunity. Every cricketer who's given the opportunity of captaining a side does almost always claim saying it's a huge honor and I'm, very happy to do this. But I really don't think this is going to help his bowling. Then it can be a real burden. It can, you can have sleepless nights.
I tend to think it's about the individual, isn't it? Not about just what role they perform in the team. And it's too black and white to say that bowlers, can't be captains. And Pat Cummins is absolutely proving that wrong. So it's time to really look at the individual rather than what role they perform in the team. Now, Charu, let's talk about the India team, and particularly the white ball side, because they've had a busy time of it of late. And they were at 2-0 down in their 5-match home series against South Africa, but showed some pretty good resilience to come back and draw that one 2-2. They're over in Ireland at the moment, playing in a T20 series, and they've gone 2-0 up there. What have you made of their form?
Patchy. They've done well with the bat, yes, because, they have some power hitters, they have match winners, but the bowling has been patchy without question. The spinners are okay, but they haven't done the kind of damage that you think they'd do against a team that may not be used to world-class spin. And the fast bowlers been carted all over the ground. And the fact that they were so close to that embarrassing world record chased by Ireland, 4 runs away, that would have shattered any kind of Indian confidence. So they've had a very difficult run, without doubt. I'm sure they're delighted to have scored all the runs, but the bowling side is suddenly a little thin. There's a lot of experimentation going on with the fast bowling squad, particularly, but they have some world-class spinners, and they've not been able to dominate even the Irish batsmen. So that's a real cause for concern. The Irish performed really well. And I was very fortunate just a short while back to be speaking to the man who got 64 not out in 33, Harry Tector. And I began by asking him his thoughts after that wonderful unbeaten knock in the first match.
And it was just one of those days where, you get into that zone, that people talk about. It felt like everything I tried to do sort of came off. So I guess anytime you score runs against a top team, you gain so much confidence from it.
Now, you mentioned playing against India, some of the biggest stars in the world. Hardik Pandya, right after the match, apparently gave you a wonderful little gift, the IPL winning captain. Details, please.
Yeah, we were just speaking before the end of match presentation, just got chatting away, and he asked if I wanted a bat, and we were chatting away about different things about Ireland, whatever, and it sort of was out of the blue. Very fortunate to get a bat off him. I'm sure I'll have a few lads down in and around my kit bag now over the next few weeks trying to steal it. Yeah. But he was just really nice, really generous with his time, and really encouraging to me, which was amazing for someone of his stature in the game to be so kind and genuine and humble was really nice.
Have you had a hit with the bat yet?
I did. I hit like maybe 4 or 5 balls in practice between game 1 and game 2. But then I didn't want to break it, so I put it away and said, "I'll keep that for a rainy day."
From the BBC World Service, this is Stumped on All India Radio.
Now, finally on Stumped, at just 15 years of age, Lauren Cheatle was already able to call herself a professional cricketer. At just 17, she was an international fast bowler, making her debut for Australia at the MCG against India. A long and successful career beckoned. She took time off school to play in the T20 World Cup in 2016 and took 2 for 13 in her first World Cup match against South Africa. But, like many sports stars, there have been injuries which set her back. She's currently recovering after a 4th shoulder reconstruction and is hoping to be fit, though, to play for Sydney Sixers in the Big Bash League in just a few months' time. So we thought we'd catch up with Lauren and just see how she is doing. Lauren, welcome to Stumped. Tell us where you are at the moment and how is the injury rehab going?
Yeah, hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm currently in our new centre at Cricket New South Wales in Sydney. We only opened on Monday, so it's really exciting to talk to you from here. Yeah, recovering from a 4th reco and 7 months in, but looking really, really good and hoping it's the last one, and I'm ready to go for the start of the season.
Yeah, give us a brief sort of history of those injuries. I mean, 4 shoulder reconstructions. I mean, when and where did they initially start?
I suppose that they're old netball injuries of all things, and I dislocated them both when I was playing netball when I was younger, and then got into professional cricket and probably wasn't strong enough at age 15 to recover from them properly, and dove a bit wrong in the field one time and dislocated my left shoulder and had a lot of trouble with that. So had that done in 2017 and had it done again in 2018, and then had an issue with my right shoulder, had that done 2020, then again last year in 2021. So not the best run of injury form, but I'm only 23 and I feel like I've been through quite a lot, and it's made me quite resilient in my sport, and hopefully it's set me up for another good 10 years.
23, yes. It's Jim Maxwell also in Sydney. Nice to talk to you, Lauren, about all of this, and it looks very positive. Just talk about coming into the game at such a young age, playing for your country. What was that like for you, and how did you keep your feet on the ground when it all occurred?
It was amazing. But to be honest, I don't really remember it all. Like, it was so exciting and fun at the time. It was a bit of a whirlwind. I was just living in the moment and didn't really realise how young and important and huge it was at the time. Looking back at it now, not being in the international setup and missing quite a lot of cricket, I wish I kind of held on to those moments a little bit more. And yeah, I was still in school playing for Australia, which is, looking back on it, really something to be really proud of. And the setup was completely different to what it is now. And as I said, we're in a full-time facility for female athletes as well as our male counterparts. And I know when I started, we were training 2 days a week for a couple of hours each night at the SCG, and that was it, and a couple of games on the weekend. And now we have a full 12-game fixture for New South Wales, which is huge. I've only been a part of cricket for 8 or 9 years, but to see the growth in that time has been huge, and it's so exciting to see where the next 10 years are going to go.
So you had a different life to your friends at school. Did you finish school?
I did. I did a lot of my exams on the road. I did a few in Sri Lanka and a few in India. I was at the World Cup in India when I was doing my HSC, which was a bit different to my schoolmates. But my school and my teachers were really supportive of my cricket career and made a few exemptions for me along the way, which I was really lucky for. And that probably really helped me to finish and graduate school on time with my classmates. So very lucky in that fact. And hugely grateful for the opportunities my school and cricket gave me.
Lauren, hi, this is Charu Sharma in New Delhi this time around in India. Lauren, I understand that you've had more serious health scares in your life other than the shoulder injuries, and for both you personally as well as for your loved ones as well. Would you mind telling us a little more about that very unfortunate situation?
Yeah, last year, it's pretty much a year ago, this month, I was diagnosed with skin cancer. I had a melanoma in my shin, which for someone at 23 is probably a bit unusual. But as well as in my family, both my parents had melanomas and cancer scares as well. So it wasn't something new to me, but I was so lucky to get it when I did. I had 2 operations, one on my shin and one in my groin, to get the lymph nodes to see if it had spread past my leg. Thank goodness it hadn't. I'm very lucky in that account. But yeah, it was definitely an eye-opening experience for me. And it kind of put cricket into perspective. It was a sport, but it was kind of my life. And going through that little health scare became just a sport again and something I love to do. So to come out of it and be healthy and happy is really good, but it also made me enjoy cricket more.
It's extraordinary to hear what you've already gone through at just 23. What are you thinking about when you look to the future? I know at the moment you also do some work for an organisation called What's Ability. Tell us a little bit more about that. What is it exactly?
Yeah, so What Ability, well, my second love next to cricket, it's a disability service, and especially what's unique about What Ability is they use part-time and full-time athletes as their support worker, break down that barrier and stigma around working with people with disabilities. So yeah, I'm so excited to be involved. We just opened up in Perth. We want to go international and also just giving joy to those that have so many barriers in their life already.
Lauren, it's great to hear the smile in your voice and the love of cricket, having been reignited as well. So wish you all the best. That is Australian fast bowler Lauren Cheatle. Well, that's all we've got time for on this week's Stumped here on All India Radio. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitter. We're at BBCWS Sport. Use the hashtag BBC Stumped. And check us out on YouTube as well. Just go to the BBC World Service's YouTube channel. My thanks to Charu Sharma and Jim Maxwell, and of course to all of you. We'll see you again next week. Bye for now.
Stumped is a BBC sport production for the BBC World Service in association with the Australian Broadcasting Corporation and All India Radio.